It takes a Sound. Can you hear that?
That's okay.
All right. Did you get my message?
I think I did. Oh, yeah, I did. Well, thanks. Start.
Start.
Second that motion.
All right. And I just got a card, whoever wants to sign on, and even if any of you want to sign it for the chief, because he's in a bicycle accident, I think everybody probably knows, but I actually didn't realize how serious it was until I heard like the rest of the story,
Yeah,
so
I read it.
I
It sounded
wanted to
very,
make sure that.
but it said in the email that he's recovering at home.
And he's home.
Yeah.
Get the card.
Yes.
Do we have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
We were going to table the, right, until the chief comes back?
Yeah.
Right, so.
That was the only thing.
Totally agree that we don't do it. Raise it, I don't know.
I didn't read the article because I wasn't. Maybe we can all just know, have that article unless others are.
For the same reason, so
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
I know we.
I think,
all right,
given
I
the,
read it all over.
what
Yeah.
happened to
Okay.
Chief, we.
Very, very good. Thank you.
And I might,
I mean, yeah.
I might, you know, because I have been part of those conversations, and it has a lot to do with why I even have been serving on the commission, that I might just come back and like be in the public forum. Because I am really interested, and I actually have been having conversations with him and with everybody about that, so I might just come back and join. I'll pay attention to when
Mhm.
it's coming up
Good.
on the agenda. Okay, so hi, there's the public, does anybody?
In terms of group, the site to the police department, all the other work that's happened around and on fair and impartial police. So, definitely interested to be here and to learn and listen. I was also just reflecting a lot since the last time about the out and it just place of real empathy because I've been an organizational leader whose dynamics and power dynamic to address that and I think that exchange that happened between Katrina and the chief and I think that in addition to policy and training, I think part of the other skill set that is needed is that ability to be able to kind of hear criticism or hear concerns being brought without that defensiveness or with some acceptance that people are going to have their fears and their concerns and distrust. I think especially when we're talking about police relationships with people of color, there's just such a long legacy of violence and fear that we're working to undo, and so of course that distrust might be there, and so anyway, it's just something I was thinking about, and for whatever it's worth, just want to sort of express my both my empathy for like how difficult it can be to be in these conversations, but also just my encouragement towards you all being able to support each other and also law enforcement officers to be able to hear those things and know that it's not always coming from a place that's personal, or to know that you could be working really hard to do the right things and some of that distrust is still going to be there because of the sort of generations of trauma that people have experienced and the fears that are going to sit with people that is going to take more than than one initiative or one training to undo. So again, whatever that's worth, I just wanted to offer that to the conversation. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Is anyone else here for public forum? So the next thing on the agenda is an update on the chief.
That's good. So for the people that may not know, the chief was involved in a bicycle accident in New York a little over a week ago. He was going down a mountain road. He's actually training for a triathlon. He was going down a mountain road, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he lost control of the bike, and some people found him unconscious on the road. And so he's got a number of injuries. He's got 10 broken bones. And as he told his wife the other day, you know, he does have a hard head, so, you know, but it did break. So, but he's going to be just fine. It's going to take a little time to heal. He's very sore right now, but I did see him yesterday, and he is upright, walking, so that's a good sign. He's going to have to rest a lot, which is probably not in his nature. So I think to have a lot of patience is going to be somewhat difficult, but he is doing great, and I've talked to him, and he's really wanting to get back to work because that is what he loves. So.
Is there, I mean, I'm not even sure if it's appropriate to ask, but like, is there a time frame, or is it just like they're gonna take it as it goes and see how it goes?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to take it as it goes. He's, you know, he gets tired often because his bones are healing and, you know, everything's healing. So I'm hopeful that he may be back in the office in a month, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't worse, but I just felt so weird because I thought it was just like like a bike accident, like maybe broke his ankle or something. Then when I heard all the details, I was like, wow, it was just really, you know, so that card is going around, you know, if anyone else wants to sign it, it's right over on the end of the table. Yeah, and please tell them we're thinking of them, you know.
I will.
I hope it goes well. Maybe we should send a sympathy card to his.
It's probably a good idea.
But really though, yeah, God, I hope that everything goes well and it's, you know, up and
Yeah.
So the next thing on the agenda is the tour of the, what does it say?
ERV.
And that stands for Emergency Response.
Vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's right outside the
Almost
door
back in.
here. We were going to do that early on in the presentation only because the officer that's out there with it, you know, has some other things to do. So the public is welcome to come out and look at everything that's on the truck and find out the purpose of it. And I know we've already talked to you about what you're going to be able to do. So.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to come out.
Okay. All right.
Okay. meeting of the Police Commission is currently underway, but the commissioners are engaged in a tour of the emergency response vehicle outside the building. The meeting will resume when they return to the building. The meeting of the Burlington Police Commission is currently in session, but the commissioners are outside the building undertaking a tour of the emergency response vehicle. The meeting will continue in this room when the commissioners return. The meeting of the Burlington Police Commission is currently in session, but the commissioners are outside the building participating in a tour of the department's new emergency response vehicle. The meeting will resume in this room as soon as the commissioners return. The meeting of the Burlington Police Commission is currently in session, but the commissioners are outside the building participating in a tour of the department's new emergency response vehicle. I believe they are now returning to the room.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is the chief's report.
So I don't have a whole lot to report on, other than it was reported during the last meeting that the chief was going to attend the Police Executive Research Forum conference in Nashville about opioids, and he did, and they developed a 10 standards of care of policing in the opioid crisis. This is available on our website under our transparency portal, under reports. Basically, just going over what the 10 best strategies are, best practices for the opioid crisis. So this was a nationwide group. You know, everyone's trying to deal with this issue, and as far as I'm concerned, Burlington and the police department are at the forefront of trying to determine what the best practices are. So if you're interested in looking at that, that's where it is.
So Chief Wright, I haven't been to, I went to, I think maybe one of the, are we calling it ComStat?
Yep,
Yeah, at City Hall in the auditorium.
Right.
Is that's like going along well and like?
it is.
Working out?
Yeah, every 3 to 4 weeks. Is it 3 weeks they meet? And, there's an entire group of people. I don't know if you guys are aware of what it is.
Yeah, it's huge.
Basically, every service that is available to us that opioids hits, which is pretty much everything, is present and determining, what each one of those agencies can do to help and what the best practices are. And they bring people in from out of the state that are trying to do new things or trying to do different things, throwing stuff against the wall to determine what sticks and if they try something and it fails, at least they can say that they tried. So that's where everyone is right now. But, I think our chief really has a good handle on what's happening and how to deal with it. Sometimes some of the things that he recommends aren't looked at very well by some of the services because it's against their nature. But this is a crisis, and we're trying to deal with this how we can. And to keep an open mind is probably the most important part.
I think one of the organizations that came in it was like a health organization, I think from Massachusetts, and I remember the topic was about, like you're saying, that healthcare providers being able to share information with law enforcement and still be careful about confidentiality and all that.
Right.
It sounded like they were kind of figuring that out, which is a huge feat. That's huge.
Well, it kind of goes against the grain for anybody to share information, especially in the healthcare business, because of HIPAA regulations. So when you try to work around that, you want to have the best care for the patient, but you also want to have to give them privacy as well. So it kind of goes against each other. But, as we've seen in law enforcement over the last probably 5 years, we have really embraced a lot of things that I never thought that we would over the years. And we've had to look at things differently. And as much as we don't like some things, we understand that this is the way that society is headed, and this is what people want. So if it works, and we're going to be okay with that. The other thing is just an update on Deputy Chief Burke. He has 2 days left. His last day is July 6th. We are in the process of taking applications for Deputy Chief nationwide and developing that process. So we're hoping by the week of July 9th to get that started. We're also losing 2 lieutenants, so the historical value that we are losing from this agency is huge. But, I'm sure that we're going to find some sergeants in our ranks that are really going to be in a well-placed to take their place. Other than that, that's about all the updates I have.
So the 2 lieutenants that we're losing, what's that?
Lieutenant Brad Trombley and Lieutenant Dennis Duffy. They're both retiring.
Oh, it's hiring. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm sure they've earned it.
They have.
Yeah.
All of them have earned it.
I saw Chief Burke too, just this morning over at Dunkin' Donuts with his son, getting ready to do some yard work.
Good.
He's taking a little break probably. Good. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about any information that Chief Burke shared?
Yeah, I just had a question, if we can go to these meetings, who should we contact in order to go to the meetings where the groups get together? Is it Ms.
For the
Cheney?
ComStat?
Yeah.
Community stat? You can contact Laura Cheney,
Yeah.
and she can set you
So
up with.
I think
yeah.
that's,
And
Okay.
it seems like it's
Yeah,
kind
it'll
of
be
like a
tomorrow.
public meeting in a way.
For the most part, it's not a public meeting, no.
no, the chief explained, said it wasn't, but we could go.
Right.
Yeah, Laura has set out some information saying this is the time, yeah.
for example, this Thursday morning, because I know I always have a conflict, it might be the fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, did you say it's tomorrow or the next day? Thursday?
It's tomorrow, yeah.
Wednesday?
Oh, no, Thursday, sorry,
Yeah.
off a day. Yeah, it's Thursday.
Okay, so next we have review of any incoming correspondence. Do we have any?
Laura included 3 letters
Yes.
from May.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't change them. Say that.
No, I think maybe, however you want to do it, if you want to read them, or I think maybe she sort of summarized them, or however you want to do it, you know, it's fine.
Okay. One is for our parking enforcement, Dana specifically, just for hospitality. Somebody's child was graduating from college and they heard that parking would be horrible, but Dana gave them a map and talked them through it, and she was just awed by her kindness. One was about me, which I don't have to read while I was in recruitment. And one was thanking us for our partnership with the marathon. And they just thought it was the smoothest race in years, and they think Burlington really put on a show for the runners and thought our security was great. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're moving on to number 7. Commissioner updates and comments. Do that. Should we take a minute to do that?
They could do it on our.
So, I'm not gonna give a speech or anything, but this is my last meeting as chair, and I think, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that, like, do like a nomination thing, I'm not exactly sure what the process is, but I asked Michelle and Shereen, I kind of tried to get Shereen to do it the last time, but, so whatever the process is for that, I think Michelle and Shereen have both given some thought to that. But I do want to say that I've been really happy to have the opportunity to serve both as vice chair and chair. Thank you all for your service. You know, I have a lot of respect for all of you and Chief Del Pozo, and I'll still be around. I'll probably show up in public forum here and there. And I might still do a couple of things with Kaleo, but I'm actually launching kind of like a re-entry thing that I'll probably tell you about, because there's a way that Burlington Police Department can partner with us. It's just going to be a little bit more of like employment stuff and supporting people that are returning from prison. And it's connected to Kaleo. But I did just really want to say that I've been really happy to serve. I've learned a lot of things. It hasn't been easy, but I've been really, grateful for the opportunity to serve. I believe in civic duty, and I was really glad to work with all of you, and I'll still be around.
Well, you'll be missed. So we're gonna not let you do anything with that, so hold on to it. Yeah, you'll be missed. You've been tremendous, so
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been great, and I will still be around.
Yeah, we hope so.
So, I mean, I'm not really sure.
I think you just have someone move a slate, like move Michelle as chair.
Unless anybody else is interested.
Yeah, if anyone else is interested in chair or vice chair.
And then I think, I don't know, can we contact this, or I think there's a piece of it that we have to make sure that they're okay with it. I mean, I think since you guys are already on and it's just like a switch over, it's probably not that big of a deal, but somebody should be
Providing
communicating that.
notice.
Yeah.
So someone should bring a motion that,
Well, I make a motion that Michelle Ash is our next chair.
And then you're staying on as vice chair,
You're
right?
staying on as vice chair, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Big shoes to fill.
Thanks, really, it's really
Good luck.
good.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
I said yes, as long as Shireen was going to be vice chair.
So I'll check in with, I can't remember the name of the woman at City Hall.
Lori Olber.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we should welcome our new commissioner.
Good.
Yes,
Really?
as of last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yay, that's awesome.
You want to come up and
Well,
introduce yourself?
Right.
I don't start until the 30th.
Right, but
Just waiting.
it was approved, it was approved last night.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to serving on the police commission. I've been attending a couple meetings now, and I'm excited to learn what's going on, and take a period to learn and observe and follow you guys' lead and see what happens. And I'm looking forward to some things that we can do and some ways to help contribute to the civic functioning of the city, as Christine said.
Great, thank you.
So
Yeah.
one of the things you want to do this sooner than later is make sure you get a city email, because that's how we communicate, is a burlingtonbt.gov email.
Okay.
So we can put you in touch
Yeah.
with.
Could that be through Lori as well, or?
Yeah, so Chief Wright can get you connected with that, because, and then I can send you some stuff on open meeting laws and, that we never meet more than, less than a quorum, I should say, so.
Yep.
Great.
I'm looking forward to all the information you can give me. I'm happy to read it,
and
absorb
we're-
it.
We can always meet with you before the next meeting to talk about process.
Which I did, it was great, as a
Helpful.
new, yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Do we have anything else for commissioners update to the And is everybody, the card is right here, so if anybody has it.
I have a question. Were we going to get incident reports again?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
it's been a little busy.
Yeah, I know.
Last person standing, yeah.
I apologize for that.
No,
No,
that's,
it's okay.
it's,
We get through this period and we can resume later in the summer or fall.
which actually, that leads into number 10, so when we get there,
Right.
yeah.
So do we have an update for number 9 for the vicious dog?
Yes, I served all the copies of the final, the amendment
Yeah.
to all parties. There was a question from the deceased dog owners that I think I conveyed to the attorney, but I don't think that that's going to be addressed. And as far as the other neighbor, they didn't have any issues. They had not had any issues with the dog since this issue. But I did want to put you on notice that there may be another hearing coming your
another
way for
case.
another incident. I'm waiting for the city attorney's office, so I just want to give you that heads up.
Well, now we are a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
It won't take us a
For a
year.
different situation, yeah.
That's terrible, but
Yeah.
we're
In
a
some
little better prepared.
ways, I'm not all that surprised because it could be the kind of thing like, it's like, oh, that's an option.
Right.
So there's we were the second committee. There's actually a committee to hear that. Jim, you're on that.
The public safety.
Who else is on that?
The first one.
We were drafted.
No, we were drafted, with 3 of us drafted.
So we
Yeah.
can figure it out. Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll draw straws.
Oh, okay, so it's not necessarily,
No.
3,
We were
okay.
the
For that
standing
specific
committee for
incident.
vicious dogs.
I see. Got it.
No one was
But
jumping.
if you need somebody, I'm happy to do
They
it.
didn't,
but,
they didn't touch their nose in time.
Right.
We already hear that. She said nobody was chomping. I mean, I guess I've always wondered too, like, what is the role of the public safety committee or something like that? Like, if we were trying to scramble, especially if it was something that got really involved and we were looking for people to serve on a committee, I wonder if it might make sense to reach out to them too.
The problem
It's a
is by
public safety
city
issue.
ordinance, it
It's
names us.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
city
Yeah.
commissioners are the, use the dog.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So can I just, is that done now, that the dog, is there some period of appeal possible, or?
There is an appeal time
Time
period.
period.
Who knows if anything's going to happen. I think it's, 30 days? Did you remember? So 30 days from the service. If we hadn't heard anything, then it's over.
So we'll know by next meeting. There's more
When was
process.
when was it handed down?
What is today, 26th? Around the first week, or around in there.
so they've got a week to go.
Yeah, approximately.
Okay, so our next item is update on the annual commission report. Let's do this.
Yes, so Deputy Chief Wright and I are meeting on July 5th to start that process. The hope is that by the July meeting, we'll have a draft.
Great.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have the data we need by July 5th, but if not, we'll know what we need to track down. So it should be good to go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then, so our minutes from the last meeting, this, have you had a chance to check that out?
Yep.
No additions or revisions or anything?
I move to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, wow, are we really finished? We're just gonna do our date for the next meeting. Oh, do we need an executive session tonight?
No.
Okay. So our next meeting, is, so we'll just do the July 24th, which would be like the normal date, yeah?
So I'm not on the way that week, so just put that out there so you'll be aware of it.
So we will put you on the vicious dog hearing tribunal.
Okay.
Duly
I
noted.
think that's how it happened last time.
I think I saw you raise your hand.
That's why I've been here every meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess if we don't need executive session, then,
Entertain a motion?
yeah, to adjourn.
Second? Wow. Did
Yeah.
anyone?
Yeah, now we move to adjourn. I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speedy, wasn't it?
That was,
Badgering us.
yeah, please give Chief our best.